Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about ingredient reading and ingredient labels, nutrition facts. My brain's not working. And we as coaches a lot get questions regarding if something is good for them or not. And our market in the food industry is very deceptive, and so many things say natural now, and our mind thinks, oh, it's healthy for me, and it's like natural poison, like reading ingredients, and it's horrible. And so I wanted to go over a couple tips or things to look for when you are reading ingredients, a few things that you definitely want to avoid that may seem healthy. Even in the Beachbody world, you'll find I've seen Shakeology recipes that recommend using like sugar-free Jello or something, sugar-free syrups. Yeah, I know. And that's not from Beachbody, that's from other coaches who are making different Shakeology recipes and don't realize the connection that artificial sweeteners are so bad for you and why. So that's kind of my goal for tonight. If that sounds good with you guys, let me go ahead here and share my screen real quick and we'll jump right in. Okay, so this is GNC's website, obviously, and this is muscle milk, right? I have so many people who tell me, I don't need Shakeology, I drink muscle milk. And I'm like, and so what are you trying to tell me? Because they're completely different products, right? So I wanted to see if there's an easier way to see this. Nope. I wanted, oh gosh, what's happening? Okay, well, hold on. This is being so silly. I don't know what's happening. Let me refresh the page. I wanted to go over some of the ingredients in muscle milk and why I'm not the hugest fan. Oh, why? Okay, there we go. So this is the paragraph of ingredients. Can you guys see that kind of okay? Mm-hmm. Zooms it up real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of go through some of the bigger things in here. So this top half, I was trying to point. You can't see my finger. Okay, so first you've got calcium, sodium, caseinate, in parentheses, milk. For some reason, Siri thought I was talking to her. Milk protein isolate, non-dairy creamer. So all these up here have to do with milk protein, right? And a huge thing with dairy that we've talked about on our team before is you want to know the source of your dairy. You want to know, is it regular dairy that's been hydrogen? You guys, I'm sorry, my brain right now. What's the H word? That's pasteurized and homogenized.
Homogenized.
I don't even know what I was trying to say. If it's from, cows that are fed a ton of grain and are the protein's denatured, you can't absorb it anyways. It'd be very inflammatory in the body. So even if it has a high protein content on the nutrition facts, you're actually not going to be able to break that protein down into amino acids, which is actually what our body absorbs to create muscle and to rebuild tissues in the body. So this is all crap, first, in a very nice way to say it. Then you've got, for some reason, non-dairy creamer in here, which I'm not really sure why. Maltodextrin is something that you want to keep an eye on. Maltodextrin is high up on the ingredient list. Usually the way a nutrition facts label works is the ingredients that are first, there's a higher content of that in the product, and the ingredients that are last, there's a much less content of those ingredients in the product. Maltodextrin is usually sourced from corn and is usually always genetically modified unless it's labeled as something different, as non-GMO. So that's all in there. you've got soluble corn fiber. Not sure why that's in there, but it is. Corn is one of the top genetically modified food items in our country. So in this, already we have 2 genetically modified ingredients in muscle milk. There's maltodextrin again. Canola oil is one of the top 3 as well, genetically modified plants in our country. So you've got 3 genetically modified ingredients that are in the top of top of the ingredient list, which means that there's a lot of that in the product. Okay, the next line, you've got crystalline fructose. Fructose, when it comes from actual fruit, when it's in fruit, is not inherently bad. When it's artificial, it's not that great for you. Medium chain triglycerides, it just depends on what the source is of that, which I'm not sure. Natural and artificial flavors, that's usually code for crap. Not always, but usually. Chocolate cookie pieces, so that's good. You can read what's in the chocolate cookie pieces. Corn, you got another corn product. And then less than 1% of the following. And so this is a lot of the like vitamins and artificial vitamins, things like that. You've got whey protein isolate in there. Again, we don't know the source of it. But basically, where is sucralose? That's what I was looking for. This is a big one that you want to watch out for when you're reading your ingredients. It's an artificial sweetener. That is Splenda. That's another word for Splenda. And there have been a lot of studies on Splenda. I know when it first came out, it was marketed to us as it comes from sugar, so it's natural, right? So actually what Splenda is chlorinated sugar. So they have replaced some of the sugar, to not get too scientific, some of the sugar molecules with chlorine molecules, and it is totally different from sugar. But it's basically, if you were to pour a bunch of sugar into a swimming pool and put a straw in and drink it, that's kind of like Splenda. So that's kind of gross. Yeah, right? I can't remember. I should have pulled this up. I did a huge article on all the artificial sweeteners a while back. But most artificial sweeteners were discovered by trying to develop pesticides or rat poison. So that's always really comforting, just so you know. There has been several side effects linked to sucralose. Honestly, aspartame is worse because it's been around a lot longer, and we have a ton of, and I'm going to talk about that when we see it. I think it's in another one of the labels I'm going to look at. But sucralose is definitely not something that you even want to, in my opinion, that you even want to have in moderation. It's better to have regular sugar. You really want to avoid it. So all of those sugar-free drinks, the light versions of pretty much like all the yogurts that say light, a lot of those, read those ingredients because a lot of them have sucralose in them or Splenda. And our goal on our team is not just to lose weight and take in less calories. Our goal is for every single person to get healthier and stronger and feel better. And anything to me that is focused only on weight loss and is going to get you farther away from getting healthier is not the right path ever that you should take, because in the long run it's going to cause you to gain weight, which all artificial sweeteners will do. And it's going to get you closer to a cancer diagnosis. Who wants that, you know? But unfortunately, we don't think of it that way. So artificial sweeteners are a big one in my book to always stay away from. So those are kind of the big things. These all, I'm not even going to go through them because they're all artificial vitamins. You don't want artificial vitamins. If you're going to have vitamins in something, then you want them to be from a whole food based. So that's muscle milk. Look, you can get 2 pounds for $27.99. You get what you pay for. Remember that. Okay. So I'm now going to go on to, where's the next one I was looking at? This was a pre-workout that I found. This is called LIT. I don't even know This one says Beyond Raw. I wonder if they're trying to market it as something that's like healthy, which blows my mind. Oh gosh, what did I do? Let me try and zoom this for you guys. Let's see. There we go. Okay, can you guys see that? Let me make it a little bit bigger. Can you guys see that? Okay. So when you're reading nutrition facts, if there is just one ingredient that is on my like never consume list, they could have a bunch of amazing ingredients in it, but if there's one artificial sweetener or hydrogenated oil or one of the things that I know is going to be, really bad for my body and get me farther away from where I'm trying to go, then to me the company is not truly founded in making me healthier and stronger, and they're founded in financial gain. Because any health company who's truly rooted in wanting to help people be healthier, they know how bad some of these ingredients are, and if they're willing to compromise to put it in their products, then that's not a company that I want to be a part of, which is a huge reason why I love Beachbody products, because there's not one ingredient in the products that I use and recommend that goes against that for me. So here in this pre-workout, they've got, of course, caffeine, which is in a lot of pre-workouts. That's not the bad part. They've got all these different amino acids. That's not the bad part. Let's go to the other ingredients part. So first you have natural and artificial flavors. A lot of like I had mentioned in the last one, a lot of those are a cover basically for a lot of fillers that are genetically modified. And we learned genetically modified stuff is gnarly for your body. Citric acid, all these acids are preservatives. Sucralose, there's that one again. And I always have a hard time pronouncing this one. Aspartame potassium. It's also listed in other labels as aspartame K, because potassium abbreviation is K. And those are both artificial sweeteners that have negative impacts in your brain. Aspartame is definitely linked to, literally, it's called the excitotoxin, and it excites your brain neurons to the point where they die, and over time will create micro holes in your brain, which is so crazy that it's legal. So again, those are definitely on my do not consume list. Soy oil is in here. We learned that soy is one of the top genetically modified ingredients in our country. So it's going to affect your hormone balance. For men, it's actually going to increase your estrogen levels and decrease your testosterone. For women, it will do the same, but it's going to increase the estrogen that is linked to a lot of cancers, which is you obviously don't want. I don't know why shellac is in here. Shellac is like a paint, isn't it? Like a nail polish, shellac. I have no idea why.
An ingredient in like paint, yeah.
I
don't know what that is.
Pretty sure that's a paint component, so that's always good. But at least it's raw, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I like their natural gummy worm flavor.
I know. I saw that too. Good Lord. This is so crazy. Okay, and after the paint product, we have FD&C yellow number 5, blue number 1. So artificial colors I always stay away from for all the same reasons. They're linked to a lot of neurological disorders. Like in a lot of kids, kids will be really sensitive to artificial colors a lot of time. And so we have to be careful with that, especially in a lot of the kids stuff that's marketed towards kids, because they'll be loaded with artificial colors. And it's, again, one of those things that if your product that's supposed to be promoting health has artificial colors in it, then they're not grounded. They're not rooted in helping people. They're rooted in financial gain, which I'm not a big fan of. You can make money, but make it on doing something honest and trustworthy. That's a big word, long chemical. These are all preservatives. Preservatives are not good for your body. Preservatives will not preserve your body as much as we would want them to. They don't, unfortunately. So that's the gummy worm Beyond Raw Lit Protein. What a name. Any questions so far before we go to these BCAAs? Okay. So BCAAs are basically amino acids that a lot of bodybuilders are into because it really helps, or the studies show that it helps to build muscle gains much faster than if you were to not use them. So just so you guys know, if you're looking for a good one, the recovery formula that Beachbody sells, it comes in chocolate and the orange flavor, is acting as a BCAA supplement. And really, amino acids, all they are the building blocks of proteins. Amino acids make proteins. So if you have a bioavailable protein supplement that you're using, your body naturally is designed to break down that protein into usable amino acids so that your tissues can use those to regenerate your muscles and all your different body tissues. Amino acids and protein is incredibly important for us to continue to regenerate. Unfortunately, as we do with most things, humans mess everything up. And we have kind of taken it a step too far when it comes to a lot of BCAA products, as most of them that you see in GNC are going to be loaded with crap. Remember, the purpose of taking BCAAs is to build your muscles and get stronger. Well, remember, again, that we're wanting to build our muscles, but also build our immune system so we don't get cancer. Build our digestive system up so that we can efficiently absorb and break down the food that we're eating. We want to build our circulatory system so that we don't have a heart attack at the age of 40. We want to build our endocrine system so that our hormones are balanced and we're not setting ourselves up for a cancer diagnosis down the road, and that we're not a crazy woman or a crazy man, because hormones will literally make you crazy. Right? And so if we are consuming a product that is maybe helping our muscles grow, but it's turning us into a crazy person that's going to end up with prostate cancer at the age of 35 or ovarian cancer at the age of 25, then what the heck is the point? Your big muscles are not going to help you go through chemo. And that's kind of one of my biggest pet peeves in especially the fitness world, is we don't talk about health anymore. We're like getting so confused with weight loss and building muscle and getting farther away from cancer and feeling stronger and being healthier. And the two should always be one, in my opinion. And I don't know one person who I would have this conversation with that would disagree with me. I think everyone wants that. It's just people are misinformed about it. Hence why we're talking about it. Okay, so this is the BCAA formula. This is the ingredient levels. So they got all the different amino acids in here. And then here is the other ingredients. Maltodextrin, we talked about, is a genetically modified organism. Not good for you in any way. This has got some different vitamins mixed in with natural waxes. So, you know, maybe you have hair on the inside, you need like an internal wax. I don't know. That was a really dumb joke. Oh, it's been a long day. You've got all these preservatives and nasty stuff, natural and artificial flavors. Again, I told you what that's code for. Maltodextrin again. And then we come down here, sucralose. Excuse me. So someone, a lot of people think it's just a little bit in my iced tea. It's just a little bit in my diet soda. It's just a little bit in my sugar-free gum that I'm chewing. And what happens is, like, these products that we looked at are very, very common. And so this person who's doing a pre-workout muscle milk, and BCAAs. That's 3 doses of artificial sweeteners, artificial colors, and a lot of GMO ingredients. They're not going to be healthy. I promise you right now. And that's a bummer because they're investing money, they're investing time, and they're probably telling their buddies about it, trying to get them to do it, and it's just a bad cycle. So just notice that all 3 of these products, very common, GNC certified, all had these artificial products. There's acesulfame K, and then there's another artificial color right there. So I say this to encourage you guys and let you know, let me switch back to there, that we have an awesome products that we're drinking, and we have an awesome company that we're affiliated with, and we have awesome coaches on our team that if you guys have any questions about any of this, or you say that, hey, can you read this ingredient label for me because I'm not sure if this is good for me, any of us would be more than happy to take a look at it. You want to avoid, like I had mentioned before, the artificial sweeteners. If you don't believe me, Google side effects of aspartame or studies on negative impacts of aspartame, and you'll see how shady it was that the FDA approved it. There were many scientists who were fired because they came out and said, we do not approve this for human consumption. It's very dangerous. Like our clinical trials have shown the negative impacts of aspartame, and it's in so many products nowadays. And the same goes for, I feel like saccharin isn't as popular for whatever reason very much anymore. I think artificial sweeteners in general, people are starting to become more aware of them, which is awesome. But sucralose is definitely becoming, I think, is rising up to be one of the more common ones. So just pay attention, because you could be thinking that you're getting something really healthy because it says sugar-free or light or whatever. But really you want to go back to the whole foods, the ingredients that you know what you're reading. It's not a long chemical. Like that's what you want to put in your body. The things you may not be able to read in Shakeology is like ashwagandha and, these crazy superfoods. So that is the one exception, I will tell you. That's because they're badass herbs and you've never heard of them because we don't usually have them in America. So artificial sweeteners are a big one to avoid. Artificial colors is another really big one to avoid. Hydrogenated oils is a huge one to avoid. That's on my never list. You'll either see hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils. If you don't believe me, then I want you to go on YouTube as soon as this call's over, and I want you to look up the Twinkie torch test. And in a nutshell, the reason that hydrogenated oils are so bad for us is because they are basically one molecule away from plastic. Like they're not food. And what happens is our bodies cannot break it down. I take that back. Our bodies could break down hydrogenated oils, but if our bodies got to the temperature that would be required to break down those hydrogenated oils, we would be long dead by that point. Because a torch will not break down a Twinkie. Like, it's creepy to watch. So you guys will have to go check that video out after. But that's a big one that causes a ton of inflammation in the body, a lot of joint pain, it's proven to link to a lot of cancer cells and all the bad stuff. So avoid that. What am I missing that are like the big ones? Know the source of like your protein, things like that. Oh, genetically modified ingredients. The most common ones, soy is a huge one. So read your ingredients. Soy lecithin is not usually as bad because of the way that it's broken down. Even if it's organic, I just want you guys to know something about soy. It's one of the top allergens for most people, and the reason is because it's a protein that's very, very, very difficult to break down. So the only healthy versions of soy is if it's fermented, because the protein structure is kind of been broken down already. So like tempeh is okay and is healthy to eat, and miso is also good. Just make sure it's organic, so it's not genetically modified. But other than that, any soy protein, please avoid it. Soy oil, there's soy everything. There's so many soy products. At least Sarah laughed. Okay. So soy is a big one. Corn is another one that's really big. So if you're doing any corn products, then please try to get them organic. If you're doing like tortilla chips, try to get organic tortilla chips. And this is a big one that you don't really want to mess with a lot. In a nutshell, genetically modified foods, if you're not familiar with them, are known as frankenfoods. They have the capability of splicing your DNA. Our DNA is like a zipper, and say these are broken in the zipper chain, your DNA is constantly replicating and reproducing itself. And so once you break a DNA strand, it's going to replicate broken DNA strands, and that's linked behind a lot of tumors and a lot of issues, a lot of diseases, which we're obviously trying to avoid, right? It's very hard, unfortunately, in our culture to avoid all GMO foods. And that's why I'm thankful for products like Shakeology that helps to restore our DNA and keep us healthy and detox us from all the stuff that we're exposed to, because we don't want to become hermits, right? I've been there. Like I've been afraid of everything in the world, and I'm like, this is not living either. So that's the point. We are making healthy choices to help our bodies rejuvenate from the stuff that we're exposed to. And we do our best, and we forget the rest, right? We just have to make sure and do our best. So corn's a big one. Soy, corn, canola is another one. Please do not cook with canola oil. The only oil I really recommend, oils I recommend cooking with, would be unrefined coconut oil. Avocado oil is actually a pretty good one to cook with. Because they're stable, they have a high smoke point. I don't usually recommend cooking with olive oil because it's really fragile and it'll go rancid with high heat temperatures, so use that more on your salads. I'm taking a tangent. Avoid canola oil. And is there any other like top ones you guys can think of that are genetically modified ingredients that I'm missing?
Wheat. You forgot wheat.
Wheat is definitely up there. I don't think it's quite as common as soy and corn yet, but it's definitely growing. And if you guys have any questions about this, you can always Google it. And there's a ton of documentaries on genetically modified foods and what it does to the body. And it's good to know about to make educated choices and protect you and your family. Just don't let it overwhelm you too much, because like I said, I've been there. And then you're like, I just want to drink water. Oh, wait, the water's contaminated. I'm going to become a breatharian and only breathe the air. Oh, wait, the air is contaminated. I just want to live in a bubble. It's obviously not what we want. So, yeah, there's a couple other ones out there, but those, I think we picked the top ones. Is there any other ingredient reading tips that you guys have? Yeah. Awesome.
I try to just make sure I know what all of them are, and since I don't know very much, that's a pretty short list.
That's as much as we can get from our garden, right? And like protein.
I don't know what maltodextrin is, so
there you go. Oh man,
Jessica, what was that you said like overstimulates neurons in your brain?
Yeah, so
aspartame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a excitotoxin, so excitotoxin means it excites your nerve cells so much to the point where they die, and or a neurotoxin, it kills brain cells. And there's studies that have proven this. So the fact that that's why it blows me away that the fact that it's still legal is like crazy to me. But it's very fascinating also. Aspartame's also been linked to heart damage, like significant heart damage. And that is per the FDA's reported list that they will actually acknowledge, which usually they don't acknowledge a lot of it, or it's not, a lot of the symptoms are not reported. My grandmother, my stepdad's mom, actually has a permanent heart arrhythmia from aspartame, and they were able to link that to her. So she's a diabetic, and so obviously she was doing sugar-free stuff, and that's kind of how it started. So she has to avoid all aspartame now because she had literally the diagnosis was aspartame poisoning, which happens to a lot of people. And the other crazy thing, I'm going on so many tangents. So for anyone who's diabetic, usually they consume sugar-free products with artificial sweeteners. They think that they're doing themselves a favor. Well, artificial sweeteners are linked to pancreatic cancer. Your pancreas is the organ that stabilizes your blood sugar. So of all of the organs in your whole entire body, when you're diabetic, you want to take care of your pancreas. And all of these artificial sweeteners are killing your pancreas. So you're making your diabetes worse in the long run, which is crazy, right? But we don't talk about that. I guarantee you, like, most doctors don't even know that. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. We live in a crazy world, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for being on here. Anything else before we hang up? Nah.
Thank you.
Nada.
No.
Fonseca, I see you on the call. You're muted.
Thank you.
I'm gonna unmute you. Fonseca, you're unmuted. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm telling Eddie, oh my God, did you hear that? Aspartame causes heart disease. We can't have any diet drinks.
He's probably not going to be happy that you became friends with me.
I teach him a lot. He tries to teach others as well.
That's good.
Especially with the pre-workout
Mm-hmm.
and the BCAAs. That's a big one.
You can tell him that this team call was just for him. And G, and I got to share it with G as well.
Yes.
So you asked about Diet Pepsi?
Yes, because it's supposedly aspartame free.
So there's so many different ones. Diet Pepsi historically has always had aspartame in it. Is there a new Diet Pepsi?
The new can says it's aspartame free.
Now it's healthy.
I think that it has. The only article that I can find is why the CEO of PepsiCo is bringing back Diet Pepsi with aspartame.
I seen it on a can. They say aspartame free. I'm not a Pepsi drinker, but
It was actually Diet Pepsi, because I know
yeah.
they have a new like Life Pepsi or something. I know that I'm pretty sure Pepsi has a form of a Diet Pepsi that has sucralose in it, and that's the Splenda. I would still avoid it. But in place, because sometimes I know that it's nice to just have like a soda type beverage. And so what we always drink if we want something like that is the stevia sodas. Like Zevia is a brand, and Blue Sky Free is another brand. And my husband drinks them, so I mean that's something. They actually taste pretty good. They don't taste identical, but for someone who drinks like a pack of them a day. But if you only drink them every now and then, they're actually really good, and they don't have any of the bad flavors or artificial colors or anything in them.
Okay.
Yeah, good question though. Because like Coke Zero has sucralose in it.
Yeah.
But Diet Coke has aspartame. So that's kind of the difference between those. But I did see like a green Pepsi can or a green Coke can. And I don't remember it was at the store. I don't remember what the name was, but it was like Life something. I think they were trying to do one with stevia in it. but it still had all the. I think it still had all
The colors?
What'd you say?
Does it still have all the like artificial colors? Because it's
Yeah,
still, I mean, a dark drink.
Yeah, I think it has the artificial colors still. Let me see if I can find it. It says in 14. Yeah, I don't know.
You did?
I don't know. The only articles I can find are from like 2014 when they tried it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just try and stick. Like, it's nice to be able to find like a healthy alternative for those kinds of things, especially when you're trying to transition things. Over your Perrier is perfect, Sarah.
I'm checking the ingredients.
Sparkling water is awesome.
That's what I drink now, sparkling water.
Yeah, I know it's way easier. But sometimes you want like a treat or something. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have the alternatives. They even have even the soda, the all natural sodas that have none of the artificial stuff and that uses like real organic cane sugar is going to be way better than the crappy ones. But I like the Zevia sodas because there's no sugar in them and they're all natural. Stevia is all natural sweetener. Cool. Any other questions? Nothing? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the call tonight. It was great talking with you all. I'm going to go back to my screaming monster in the living room. And have a wonderful night, you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.